successful, but work toward being significant, and success will naturally flow for you. Okay, now that is it for the business tips and the business quotes. Let's get our eyes back to the SMB news updates as we start off with now this time around we're heading to the SMB news updates to get to understand what is coming in from there. A lot is actually expected from the SMB news updates as we are focusing more on trying to build this one out. This report is taking us to the National Environmental Management Authority, which has decried of less funding, and the statement coming in from the executive director reveals that they can only be paid salary according to the funds that are available for NEMA. Addressing the press at the Uganda Media Center, Akankwasa said that the environment and natural resources sector is the most underfunded sector. He actually stated that the allocated funds pay only salary and office running, which has hindered operations and enforcement of those that they plan to do. Let's have more of this report.
As Uganda is set to join the rest of the world to commemorate the International Environment Day on 5th Sunday, the Executive Director, National Environment Management Authority, Dr. Akankwasa has decried of less funding which has failed them to do operations.
Least funded, yes. Environment and natural resources sector is one of the least funded. It is true. I can give you the situation at NEMA. At NEMA, we only have resources to pay salaries. Only salaries and office running. We don't have resources for operations. We don't have resources for enforcement. And so these are realities, but government has committed to changing the situation. And we hope that going forward, the situation is going to change. The environment and natural resources sector is becoming a top priority of government. You had the head of state make it very clear that the only threats he considers for Uganda's economy are two. Relying on rain-fed or natural rainfall for agriculture, in other words, limited irrigation.
If we work together, we should be having the necessary resources to revert Uganda to that prestigious nation that was once, and actually up to today, we would want to keep it as the pearl.
He expressed no doubt that government will definitely consider allocating more funds.
And the second was degradation of sensitive ecological systems, which threatens the productivity of our economy. And so the head of state, if the head of state says those are two top threats of the economy, then you can confirm that there is clear prioritization of these issues. He is the fountain of honor, and if he thinks that these are top priorities, then certainly they are top priorities of government, and we have no doubt that the rest of the government machinery will follow the pronouncements of the head of state to allocate sufficient resources to address the key issues of environment and natural resources sector.
When we were at school, we were told environment is man and his surrounding. Once the environment, the surrounding you are living in, is not healthy, there's no way man can be healthy. The degradation of forests and wetlands has led to some diseases that used to hide in those forests coming to attack man. There are so many diseases that man suffers now, which is a cause of environmental degradation.
The goal of the environmental sustainability is to conserve natural resources and to develop alternate source of power while reducing pollution and harm to the environment.
But what NFA is doing right now is that they have started giving out to private tree planters, so that any kind of land that is idle can be planted, so that people cannot do what? Cannot come in. And again, we are trying to reopen the boundaries so that people are getting aware of where the boundaries do pass. And also, we also doing awareness so that people get to know us and get to know where the boundaries are, what is good and what is bad when you do what? When you encroach on a forest.
For environmental sustainability, the rate of the future measured in 50,000 and 100 years is the guiding principle. Many of the projects that are rooted in environmental sustainability will involve replanting forests, preserving wetlands, and protecting natural areas from resource harvesting. The biggest criticism of environmental sustainability initiatives is that their priorities can be at odds with the needs of the growing industrialized society. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Yes, there you have it. And speaking of sustainable development and sustainable agricultural, or let's say sustainable environmental conservation, it is also very important to note that once the conservation managers, directors, or that particular government institution of NEMA has the funding, then conservation and operations move on smoothly. But according to the executive director, it is currently one of the most underfunded sectors of the economy, and these statements actually come in at a very good time because I've hardly seen a sector that comes out to claim that they're actually receiving enough funds. Every time when we're heading into the financial year or the national budget reading, you will actually expect every sector to come out and reveal that they need more funding because at least the government is not actually giving them money that will see them push for their operations. And so is the National Environmental Management Authority, which says that the sector is underfunded, and this is affecting operations and enforcements that NEMA actually does is as well moving in and around the country to track down people who are actually enforcing or encroaching onto natural resources, people who settle in wetlands, people who are actually settling in land reserves and all that. So when you're drawing circles around the situation or around the argument, you get to understand why NEMA believes that government is not throwing in the funds that they need to see or the funds that they need to receive in the bigger picture. Okay, now switching eyes to the next news update. This time round, we're heading to the Electricity Regulatory Authority. And the Electricity Regulatory Authority has signed a memorandum of understanding with UBTEB, and this understanding is setting a plan to increase the number of certified electricians, since UBTEB is an institution that entirely focuses on technical skills, upskilling and upbringing of people from the world of science and technology. Now, the two institutions, one is the Electricity Regulatory Authority and the Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, have come out to sign a memorandum of understanding to enhance cooperation. The cooperation will also include partnership with each other in order to ensure intersectional coherency and collaboration. This was done as an intention of growing the number of certified electricians in the country. When you're looking at a gap of electricians, you would want to have those who are certified. I believe some of us are also electricians in our own way. Some not technically gifted, but because we've been in the field and we know how things are done, we claim to be electricians. But a certified one is one with the papers, with the rightful documents, and as well the rightful qualifications, if I'm to put it in that way. And well, this is a deal that is going to be signed, an MOU which was signed rather between ERA and UBTEB, to see that the increase of certified electricians is up there, so that we can amicably say yes, we are ready to venture into the sector of electricity and energy with certified people who can support this sector. Let's have more of this report.
The current shortage of tested and certified electricians is a problem for the electricity supply industry. But the bigger problem is the public's ignorance on the need of certified electricians undertaking electrical installations for their premises. In order to manage this, the Electricity Regulatory Authority, in liaison with the Uganda Business and Technical Examination Board, addressed the skills gap in the field of producing competent and dynamic electricians in the electricity sector.
Smile. You are smiling. Here to here.
The Chief Executive Director of Electricity Regulatory Authority mentioned various resources that will be available in accelerating the training of electricians.
Memorandum of Understanding, ERA confirms its institutional commitment to the following. 1. In liaison with UBTEB, ensuring that there is sensitization of all electricians on the requirements of application for any installation permit. Ensuring that all electricians eligible for installation permits are provided with information on application and the necessary requirements. Carrying out interviews for all applicants and issuing of installation permits to the qualifying applicants. Providing the necessary support for electricians through licenses to enable them get the qualified required skills. Participating in the review of policies, plans, programs and projects of UBTEB that relate to the activities regulated by the ERA. Maintaining proper records of activities conducted in respect of ensuring issuance of installation permits to electricians.
Onesimus Onyesije, the Executive Secretary of UBTEB, pledged commitment towards increasing the number of certified electricians by ERA.
We can deliver service to the public. There are people even who are not aware that if somebody came to work on your house, you should first even ask for that certificate. So that's an area which I think we shall emphasize, that people, communities are aware. I made a case. When people go to farms to treat animals, they are supposed to record their names in a certain book. And one of the technicians said, I don't have time. So when we consulted, we found that actually the reason he was not writing, he was not qualified to do the job. But he's not even, the community is not aware that somebody should do what? Should be putting details down of what you are going to do. And even when you ask, if you ask outside and say, how many to pass for these installation permits, they are very few. You don't know. You see somebody coming, climbing the tree, what? You don't know. But I think together we can make even communities aware that this is a requirement and somebody should have it, and the genuine one. Together with my team, we shall ensure close working relations with ERA in implementing the agreed upon commitments by our respective agencies.
He added that as a board, they will make sure that all trainees go through a certain assessment to be fit for certain professions.
We are working closely with the Uganda Veterinary Board. You know the Uganda Veterinary Board? To ensure that all our people who go through our training institutions go through the assessment and certifications. So when you employ a person on the farm, we should be with that certification. And that one, we are working with ICPAU, Uganda Institute of Certified Public Accountants, that the technicians have to go through a certain process. We work with the Uganda Institute of Engineers, UIPE, also together. But why we bring them on board that ensure that whatever is taking place in training and assessment, they know, and we follow their standards, which are, so like the problem we are talking about, with time it will go. But also have to work with the urban planning authorities to ensure that those houses are not put up by anybody. You know, this Chiwakali can do anything.
Ronana, 24 TV, Business Today.
And well, when you look at that situation, the memorandum of understanding with UBTEB is to help create room for more of the electricians in Uganda. And more certified electricians, qualified electricians is what we're actually looking for in this particular situation. And that is why the MOU comes in place and comes to be set up here. So the two institutions do believe that this will actually foster and create room for more certified electricians, for Uganda and greatly see that we change how the flow things about. So throwing it down and breaking it down a little more is that when you look at the situations is electricians in the country, we have quite a number. I believe some of you, when you have issues to do with electricians in Uganda, you would still want to look for maybe a friend who has studied or who has done something of any sort, and then you're like, okay, it is actually you know, it's just a call away. Maybe your uncle who is experienced and he has actually been in this for, we all know this is the African setting, but this time around we're looking for certified electricians. The certified electricians will be these same people who are going to come to your place and at least work on you with a certified qualification and at least with a license that shows from the Electricity Regulatory Authority that this particular person knows what they're doing, and then you can definitely be secured with your life and at that particular situation. Now, UBTEB, remember, also runs examinations for the technical schools probably, and this is where you can definitely see it is actually a statutory national institution that actually was put in place to see that the issues to do with it was published by the Act of Parliament, and it was mandated to at least monitor as well as oversee institutions or technical institutions and technical business institutions. And this is where this agreement or this memorandum of understanding comes in, which will see Uganda get itself certified electricians. How true and how possible can that be? Only time can tell. But reality is we would need to have someone who is more qualified and good at what they're doing. If you are to at least give them more of your you know, if you're to give them space to contribute to the electricity sector. And if at all you as a person wants to safeguard your health in terms of, let's say, the contribution it has to make sure that you are enhanced probably from your world in that regard. So with the MOU, we shall have to see how many technicians will be produced from the technical institutions and which gaps are they going to fill, at least probably, with this particular memorandum of understanding. Yes, that is it for the first half of the second hour of the show. After the break, I have one more report coming your way, and I have the news, the press review, getting into the business stories that are making headlines from the newspapers. I will be coming back with the Daily Monitor and the New Vision to break down for you a little of what is coming. Good morning, stick around, I'll be back after the break.